budget that includes salaries until we have approved the personnel administration budget, even though there are other things in it. That's just my feeling.
Okay.
You Clay does such a good job, laid it out there, so the numbers are there.
Thank
No
you
doubt
very
about that.
much. I
Thank you, Clay.
appreciate it. All right. We'll move on then and look at number 4153, legal fees.
It's in your hand.
I'm going
Oh,
to,
okay.
it's right down in
Oh,
here.
you see, it's in there. Oh, yeah.
It's down there.
I see.
Yeah, I just thought as long as it's around the budget roll, we try, these don't require an appointment for anyone, so I thought we could just do them. All right. Does anyone have any comments, questions on?
I have a question. My question is there any outstanding invoices between the last quarter? Are we overspending or underspending the budget?
Can you help us with that, Karen?
I don't know the answer to the question. That's a Diane question.
That's a Diane question? Okay.
Yeah, we perilously close to overspending the budget. Just so you know.
And that's with issues that are come to fore already, not anything that could be coming up in the last quarter.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing new on the horizon.
It's always something new in the horizon.
Well, and I'm wondering, he seems to lag a little in his billings if we're current with him or not. With Rick Saber.
I believe we're current with him.
And have we settled the lawsuit we had, the utility lawsuit? That was a big part of it last year. Do we know, where are we with that?
It's still in question, isn't it?
That's in the process of being settled, and
Okay.
We've determined, I think, the direction we're going as far as taxing the utilities.
yes. The three different utilities, they need to go to the Superior Court and say they accept the final finding of the courts. And it was a slam dunk for the 22 towns.
Yeah.
How do we stand on the Steinman lawsuit at this time? Do we know anything about that?
We haven't received a bill for it. And I know there was a hearing scheduled and that got postponed, postponed. Nothing, that's probably gonna happen in
So
2018.
you found it alone.
So are we,
I guess my question was, why do you expect the expenses next year to be as high as they were this year?
Well, it would be nice if they weren't. I think it's difficult to say what's gonna happen next year. And given the ongoing legal issues that have happened this year, I can't see it's going away. I mean, the same players are doing the same, bringing up the same issues, which seems to require legal help. I don't know why we stopped putting money into the ZBA account, because ZBA did have a lawsuit this year that was.
It was, it was, yeah, we did have a,
Yeah,
but
I mean, it
we,
makes sense, as well as,
but it's always been, in my recollection, this account has always been a guesstimate because you don't know what's facing you over the upcoming, and you try to guess it as quick, as best as you can, but, and in this case, if we go over, there have been years that I think that we've been under, which again goes into your fund, but I think based on the amount of activity that we had this year, it looks like the guess was not too bad when we did the 42.8.
I don't know if I'd want to go any higher and hope that things would get out of hand. When I look at 2016, when we were at 23,129.56,
Right. But 14, you're at 46,000, 15, you're at 42,000.
Yeah, that's
You-
true.
you-
It just, it bounces.
You look at
around.
the
It does bounce
cycling
around.
on it, and
Yeah.
it comes out pretty much.
I mean, we're gonna try to avoid litigation as much as possible, but it's impossible to avoid it completely.
and we can hope the utility suit is going to be taken care of pretty soon.
Right, I think that's coming to a head. DRA has put their position together and the court has ruled. So now it's just a matter of that being sewn up.
Okay.
I'll move the dollar amount for 4153 account legal to at $42,800.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. John, no, and Guy, no.
So fine.
5-2. Could I have John's reason? Did you think it should be less?
Yeah, I
more?
voted no last year, I just think that's too, seems like a lot of money for legal, I think if it's there and available, it's gonna be used.
Okay, and Guy, more or less.
I think it's just too simple to give them a call and say, oh, and then now you're getting lots of questions, I just think it's too hard.
Okay.
What would you do in terms of protecting the town if you didn't follow up on the legal aspect of
I think
a charge?
you can certainly protect the town, I just don't know. Like you said, it's just a guess, 40,000, we seem to just
I think
come right in at our budget every year, so.
But it's not a duckworth guess, it's based on activities and some historical information. You always hope that you're gonna come in less, but how do you avoid somebody suing you? And if you do, you've gotta take the legal action to protect the interests of the town.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, but if you look at the old numbers, it's not always, it goes from 40 to 17. I mean, you could throw any number in there. I'm not disagreeing with you that you gotta protect the town, but
where was 17, John?
Yeah.
2012.
20.
Oh, 20. Well, no, it's just legal. Those are the planning, those other.
Well, that's all this is.
Part of the bottom line.
Right, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at just the,
Yeah.
And Guy, less or more for you?
$20,000 less. I have no faith at all in the Board of Selectmen's ability to manage this budget. And unfortunately, Selectman Alby's been thrown into a situation he didn't really ask for. And despite his even-handedness and common sense approach, money was thrown away on a lawsuit that didn't need to happen at all against the advice of the New Hampshire Municipal Association. And money was spent that didn't need to be spent, benefiting only the town's attorney.
Okay. And this is something we can always revisit down the road as well. Okay, let's move on to direct assistance, 4442. And I'm going to ask Chip to talk about this one, if that's all right. Chip, I know that the Board of Selectmen made a couple of cuts here in shelter and in food. I thought you might want to talk about that.
Well, we, actually, I'm the selectman who's in charge of direct assistance. And what we looked at was how often we were able to get local charities, local churches to step up to the plate and help out people in need. And this is all about people in need. It's shelter, fuel, medical services, food, electric and telephone, a small line for miscellaneous. So it appeared as though over the course of the year, although the number of cases hasn't dramatically been reduced and the economy is reasonably stable, that in food and shelter and electric, the local charities have stepped up to help folks out. We had a discussion about which lines to reduce, and it came out of shelter, just because that seemed to be the least impactful. So it's a $5,000 drop in.
Well, and food too, right?
Yeah.
Cutting food.
Food as well.
Yeah, for a total of a $5,000 reduction. And we are very fortunate that our other services in town, but this is one of those areas we, by law, have to provide direct assistance. Or,
Once again, being new. This is cyclical in nature during the course of the year as far as the disbursement process. I mean, after, for example, after this weekend, Columbus Day, of course, would you see more demand for this in the fourth quarter and in the first quarter of the year than you would in, say,
You know,
the second
I
or
was
third
thinking
quarter?
the same thing when I came into this, that it's probably a seasonal issue. The fuel obviously is gonna be a little more heavy duty in the colder seasons, but it's really people generated, you know, their circumstances. We've had folks come in June
Mhm.
who, due to whatever circumstances, they needed some help.
Okay.
And, you know, everybody's working in the summertime, but these folks still needed some help. So I haven't seen a big seasonal impact, but I'm certainly keeping an eye on it. And, you know, we do the best that we can. And as Carla said, you know, we're legally mandated to have this, but I think we're morally mandated to have it as well, because, I mean, we have to take care of our citizens that fall in hard times. And believe me, they have to prove that they've fallen on hard times before they qualify, so.
any other comments or questions? Could I have a motion to approve direct assistance 4442?
I move that we approve 4442 in the amount of $25,000.
May I have a second?
Second.
Gordon, second. All in favor? None. No from John and no from Guy again. Okay. Five, two, same reasons, you were hoping for less?
Yeah, last year, well, last year I voted to bring it down to 18,000 and we spent 13, so I think I was right in line, but we bumped it up to 30. So I just think that, again, it's too high. I don't think that, I agree with all the reasons, and I'm not sure the whole town knows that they can actually get some of this stuff, but I think I was right last year, so I'm gonna stick with it this year.
There is no federal welfare, there's only a local welfare. That's
Right, but
where we come
last
back.
year we were coming at 30, and
Right.
I suggested 18, I think, because we did an average, and we would have been right in line. It's just hard to see all that of it just go into it.
Okay, and how about you, Guy?
I've never approved of nanny state socialism, and I think that's what this is.
Okay. Okay.
I think there might be an opportunity with that too, though, because maybe not everybody knows that they can apply for some of this stuff. Because I've actually had people ask me, and I've directed them down here, but I don't think people know.
Well, and the guidelines are pretty strict.
Yeah.
And I don't think people necessarily want to admit to it sometimes. But
And you have the food bank and,
Yeah.
Right.
we have the Melvin Village Church, which
That's done a lot.
puts a lot of work into that.
I'm in total agreement with the churches,
Mhm.
organizations, not government.
Okay. Let's look at other government, 4199, please.
Oh, gosh. It's getting late in the night, Guy, for that sort of discussion.
What's that?
Cheer up,
Right. I'm
we got
working
a town meeting when it was 2 o'clock in the morning.
4199.
Yes, 4199.
That's what I do. That was a good touch.
A reduction.
Percentage-wise, quite substantial.
All right.
Kids from 8:50 $850 to 500.
That's a good percentage.
It's a good percentage.
We'll only talk percentages then.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. What on earth is the Joint Loss Safety Committee? Because I've read about it, I've tried to understand it, and I still don't get it.
Joint loss, what's the M?
Management, maybe?
Yeah.
Joint Loss Management Committee?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got?
Right.
What are they, what
In
losses
any
are they managing?
organization, probably even some that you've worked in, there's always a committee that oversees or inventories all of the safety issues that
What's a safety, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Joint Loss
Safety
Safety
Committee.
Committee. So that if, you know, you need to be insured, you need to have compliance, let's make sure all, I don't know.
All the electrical boxes have the yellow lines.
Right, the fire extinguishers are all in play. So these are people who work for the town, who volunteer for this or are appointed to this, who inventory the town's assets and make sure that we're within safety compliance.
All right.
Plus it's educational, they share it with the coworkers. Safety.
Doesn't look like you've got any volunteers in the past 5 years.
Any other questions?
You could volunteer.
That's probably why you
I'll
have
move.
volunteers.
I'll move other government, other general government 4199 in the amount of $500.
May I have a second? It's a second, all in favor? 7-0 on that one, Karen. Okay, let's look at patriotic purposes.
Number?
Number 4583. Any comments, questions on this one?
Just must be a lump sum that we give every year.
looks like it.
Looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and these are the people that put the flags in the cemetery and all that.
Yes.
All right, I motion to approve 4583 for $1,500.
All right, may I have a second?
Second?
Guy second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 7-0 on that one, Karen.
I don't kneel though.
Okay,
I was gonna kneel tonight.
we're getting down to the end, the last two here. Oh wait, I've missed one. Gifts and donations, what happened to that one?
4589.
Yes, 4589. Gifts and donations for 500.
What is this for again?
By vowel?
Pardon me?
By vowel?
This is, for instance, $75 was given in memory of our cemetery sexton last year when he passed. We have 500 in it. Boy, we spent $430.99, 216, and before,
99 seems odd.
yeah.
What was that?
The 99 seems odd. We donated.
Yeah, I know.
99
But where
cents.
do, where
Can
did
we
the
just give it-
430 go? That's what I'd like to know. Remember?
I have to, what do you think?
Did you get a gift?
I
Pardon?
don't know, you probably should look at me. Okay,
Did the selectmen go out to dinner that time?
was,
I'll vote to spend $500 on that, right?
Does that open this for discussion?
yes, I think we should discuss this.
I'm not going to speak on my personal feeling here, but one of my constituents has commented in the past that it would be far more beneficial for individuals to contribute to gifts and donations of one kind or another, so that they can tell where their money is going to go rather than a board or a committee deciding for them. I felt obligated to bring that up.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I guess the one occasion when we actually, while I was here, we spent $75. It was, I think, appropriate for the town to recognize that individual in the form of, I don't even know what the 75 was, 4 flowers, I guess.
I was in agreement with that, being a cemetery trustee, especially knowing the man very well.
I mean,
But-
there are occasions when the town needs to be, you know, needs to
Mhm.
make its
Mhm.
voice heard, so whether it's worth $500, I mean, I'd like to review the 430 at some point. Do you remember, Lloyd, what that was for?
Yeah, I draw a blank.
I mean, I think there should be something there. I too, I'm just not sure if we need to have $500 here.
I mean, I see a lot of it just dropping into the fund balance. at the end
In
of the
fact,
day.
I'll make a motion to have it at 250.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Okay.
230.
So have we approved it at 250?
At 250.
And that was 7-0.
Anyway,
It's
something
like
else.
less dinner this year. No
Yeah,
steak.
we'll go to McDonald's.
Okay, let's look at our long-term bonds and notes, 4711. That's our fire station and ambulance note.
I assume this is just based on amortization schedule?
I don't think we can,
Yeah, what am I, yeah.
what are we gonna do on this one?
I do have a question.
Yes.
If I remember, we're gonna pay these ambulance and rescue vehicles off rather quickly at the rate we're going at.
It's a 5-year lease.
5 years, yeah. Refresh my memory. Thank you. I like that too. Mhm.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Gordon?
The amount,
Second?
do you want the amount for the record? or?
Yes, please.
$236,554.
May I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Okay, it was 6-0, is that right, Guy?
That's correct.
Okay. and-
6-1, actually.
Or 6-1,
Yes.
and your reason?
My constituents don't see the need for an ambulance and rescue vehicle at this time. Thought what we had was totally adequate and that the service that Stewart provided was more than enough.
And now 4721, the interest on those long-term notes, the ambulance and the fire station. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Gordon?
$44,749.
Second,
Okay. And
Oh, we didn't get a next
all
one.
approved?
We didn't get a schedule for that.
6-1 again, Karen? Same reason, correct?
Yeah, we have to be.
But,
We need 8 o'clock.
the least, last thing I want to do is be argumentative, but if we already have a fire station with an amortization schedule and a debt, how can you not approve the contractual interest?
Well, what we've got here is two different line items, okay? And my constituents aren't voting or asking me to vote against the fire station interest or not to approve that. It's the ambulance and rescue vehicle part they have, but it's combined.
But we have it already. This is not something that's new.
I'll try to
Okay,
explain that to them
that's
if you
fine.
like, but
That's fine.
I do represent people, not just my own self here when I vote.
Well, and let me just say.
And maybe I'm the only one that does that, but
No,
I
well,
doubt it.
I think
I really doubt it.
we all represent all.
well, yeah, that's, I'm not quite sure, what is this constituent? I thought we were here elected to represent and
The town
review
as a whole.
for the town as a whole.
Not just a few.
I'm not quite sure about, you know, when you run for election and you're voted, you're basically representing the town and not separate constituencies within that town, if there is such a thing. I mean, well, whatever.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna move on and
Yeah, we almost made 8
let's,
o'clock.
Hmm?
So we almost made 8 o'clock.
thank you for everyone's
I didn't sleep that
input
one, so-
here, but it is what it is. Let's review our May 9th, 2017 minutes, please. I know, I had just one question.
So long. It seems like.
I know, under old business, first paragraph, when we talk about public input, it says Gordon Hunt moved to approve time limited. Did we have a time limit on public input? Or,
I don't think we were talking not to a time limit. I think we were referring to at the time is a
okay,
time limit per individual.
okay.
All right, that we would pretty much, say, okay, you've said your piece in 3 minutes or 5 minutes. But,
Okay, well, I know the Board of Selectmen, for instance, they have public input and it's a 10-minute time block, I think, and I could not remember to save my life if we voted on anything like that. But if we did not, that's fine. Anything else on the minutes?
Yeah, on that, and several other discussions, it says that all members agree to this suggestion, and although I didn't speak at all, I did not disagree. However, that is not exactly the case, because I do disagree with many of these things. I believe the public should be allowed to ask questions at any time during the meeting when the appropriate department heads are here who can actually answer the question with some degree of accuracy. I also don't think that the Board of Budget Committee should be in control of my citizens' right to ask for information that I want at any time, which I will do politely, and I've had good luck with that. So not all members were in agreement. There was no vote
On
taken.
which part?
On many parts. I
On
have to get
the,
through
well,
this.
vote
On the
was
time limit,
7-0 on this. That's a recorded
that one is,
vote.
that's a recorded vote. The others, request for documentation.
And we didn't,
I don't mind paying the 50, we didn't vote. It says all members were in agreement. I said nothing, so I wasn't in agreement or disagreement. However, I love the 15 cents a copy. That's great. I can afford to do that if I wanted something. However, if I wanted as a private citizen to get information, I would not bring that to the Budget Committee, since you did not ask for it.
well, no, what this is talking about is
It's
if-
here.
if
Budget
you
information.
budget information to be used here.
Well, the thing of this is,
So bring it to us,
anything brought here, though, is public information.
but if you are bringing, if you want several documents, for
Mhm.
instance, and the rest of the committee is not thinking they would use those documents, then you can't say it's for the budget committee.
Well, that's what I
That's your
do. I would
personal-
go as a private citizen.
Yeah.
And again, I would not bring that information to the Budget Committee.
Okay.
So I wasn't in agreement with that.
Does it change the reading of the minutes?
No, Karen had no way of knowing because we didn't take a vocal vote on that. I'm just commenting. on-
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Any
I'm-
other
I'm good with
corrections to the
yeah.
minutes?
So did you want to take out the sentence that said all members were in agreement?
I don't think it's truly worth her effort, to be honest with you. I just wanted to make my point.
Okay. Are there any other corrections to the minutes? Nothing else?
No.
May I have a motion to approve?
so,
Second? Okay, all in
Everybody's
favor? Okay.
I didn't hear the second, excuse me.
pick a number
Take
between
your
1 and
pick.
5.
Oh, okay, anyone? All right.
Anyway,
That sounds good.
While we're on the minutes,
Yes,
there were two issues that
time's up.
that I was requested to look into. One was getting the budgets to you earlier,
Yes.
and the other was to get the salaries together earlier. How
Okay.
do we do?
I didn't, well,
Are we
we
okay
were
with
here,
the
we
time?
started
I think so.
going
Okay.
over them, so.
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
we've had
It's
some
very
votes.
difficult dealing with an 18-month window
Yeah.
in any budgetary process. I've done over the years.
All right, I'm going to try to get through the rest of this under correspondence. Last year, I think those of you that were on the committee will remember that John did not vote on the Parks and Rec budget, correct?
Right.
And this year, Gordon said he would not vote on the library's budget. And when I went to the budget workshop, I did submit that question, but they didn't have time enough to answer it during that time. Karen, and I asked the Board of Selectmen, Karen was good enough to email, and we did get a note back in regards. So this is their legal opinion. And it appears that there is no real conflict. Nobody is getting any personal financial benefit from it. Now, if you had a spouse working in the department and you were voting on salary or something like that, that's different.
So I'll still have to recuse myself.
What's that?
Then I'll still have to recuse myself.
Oh, do you have a spouse?
I do have a spouse, yes.
No, is she working in the Parks and Rec and getting money?
During the summertime, yes.
Okay, you can't
Well, you
vote.
should recuse yourself.
Yeah,
I don't know
You
why you
should.
didn't.
I did.
He did last year.
I did.
Yeah. Okay, then you can't. But Gordon could.
Does your spouse read?
Only the small words. No, right now, until she gets her eye fixed, she's not doing a lot of reading.
I just thought we needed a
That's
little
good,
more of
yeah.
Perfect.
a legal opinion on that.
Well, based on that, based on this decision, that I very well might vote on the library, but
Yeah.
I don't,
Well,
Okay.
just hold your vote
I
until
think
you
we've
find out
welcomed your vote.
how it's going, and then you
we're
can.
not talking big.
All right. New business, CIP update. Helen.
CIP has had a meeting last week. We have heard the CIP request from the road agent, code officer, transfer station, the police, the fire. Next week, we will hear from the library on the 18th. And our capital capacity this year is $839,000. However, there are $397,000 that are already committed for things like the Rescue One and ambulance and for the fire station. Plus, when you throw in that we've got $235,000 for the maintenance of the, or for the redoing the town roads, that only leaves $207,000 for other projects. We have quite a few other projects, among them $30,000 for a new septic system for the library. So it gets eaten up pretty quickly, so we will probably be over our capital capacity this year. That's all I have to say.
You said enough. Chip, do you have an update for us from the Board of Selectmen?
Right, we've started the process, as you've seen, there'll be more budgets for you in the future. A couple of things of note that we didn't talk about. One was internet connection at the transfer station. We're gonna leave the capital line at 10.5, even though the building's been repaired and that work's done, and it should drop. Selectman Wood was able to, along with Clay, negotiate a pretty favorable deal on getting internet